What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 124 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my dining room, and I just want to give a recap of the week one in the NFL. What a crazy week one it was. Lots of excitement, lots of crazy football, great football being played. So let's start with the Thursday night game. We have the Bills beating the Rams 31-10. Josh Allen threw for 297, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he ran for a touchdown. Stephon Diggs had 8 catches for 122 yards and a touchdown. And receivers Gabriel Davis and Isaiah McKenzie each caught a touchdown. And as for the Rams quarterback, Matt Stafford, 240, a touchdown, 3 interceptions, sacked 7 times. And Cooper Kupp had a nice game with 13 catches, a $128, and a touchdown. So Josh Allen and the Bills were able to overcome early turnovers, and Josh Allen looked like an MVP down the stretch of that game. And the Bills defense was just relentless, getting after Matt Stafford nonstop. And as for the Super Bowl champ Rams, they looked like the Super Bowl chumps on both sides of the ball. The offense and defense could not do anything. For the Sunday games, we have the Eagles beating the Lions 38-35. Jalen Hurts threw for 243, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and had a rushing touchdown. A.J. Brown in his Eagles debut, 10 catches, a $155, and a touchdown. And as for Lions QB, Jared Goff, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception that was a pick 6. And DeAndre Swift had 144 rushing yards and a touchdown included. And the combination of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown looked very lethal, and their running game picked up where it left off last season. And as for the Lions, they fought hard, almost got the win, and especially on offense, they looked really good with running the football. They're a team that's definitely on the come up. The Bears upset the Niners 19-10. Justin Fields, 121 yards passing, 2 touchdowns and an interception. Dante Pettis had a 51-yard touchdown catch. And as for Trey Lance for the Niners, 164 yards passing, no touchdowns and an interception. And Deebo Samuel had 52 rushing yards with a rushing touchdown. And the Bears were able to overcome a torrential downpour at their own stadium and come back against the Niners. And for the Niners quarterback, Trey Lance, he didn't look that good taking over the team for the 49ers. The next game is the Steelers beating the Bengals 23-20 in overtime. Mitch Trubisky making his Steelers debut, threw for 194, a touchdown and no interceptions. Najee Harris had a receiving touchdown. And as for Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a fumble. And Jamar Chase in his second year, 10 catches, a $129, and a touchdown. This game was just wild, just absolutely wild. And the Steelers defense was no joke. They were able to get 7 sacks, 4 interceptions, a pick 6, a forced fumble, and they blocked the extra point, which sent the game to overtime. And as for Joe Burrow and the Bengals, Joe Burrow was awful. He had 5 total turnovers, and could this be a Super Bowl hangover for them? Next is the Dolphins beating the Patriots 20-7. Tua Tagovailoa, 270 passing yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. Tyreek Hill in his Dolphins debut, 8 catches for 94 yards. And Jalen Waddle, 4 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown. Mac Jones in his second year in his career, making his start, 213 passing yards, a touchdown, interception, and a fumble. And Ty Montgomery had a receiving touchdown. So the offense and defense for the Dolphins were clicking, and the Pats offense, they were just stagnant all game. They couldn't really get anything going. Dolphins defense was definitely able to take them over. 2.5 sacks, a forced fumble that led to a touchdown, an interception, and only allowed 7 points. Next is the Browns beating the Panthers 26-24. Jacoby Brissett, 147 yards passing, a touchdown, no interceptions. Nick Chubb, 141 rushing yards, and Kareem Hunt, a rushing and receiving touchdown. And as for Baker Mayfield, starting for the Panthers now, 235 passing yards, a touchdown, an interception, and a rushing touchdown. No revenge game for Baker. Robbie Anderson had 5 catches for 102 and a touchdown, and Christian McCaffrey had a rushing touchdown. And this game was crazy towards the end. There was a fake spike that should have been called for a penalty, but it wasn't, and it set up Browns rookie kicker Cade York to hit the game-winning 58-yard field goal. Next is the Colts and Texans, 20-20 in overtime. They tied. Matt Ryan threw for 352, a touchdown, interception, and a fumble. Jonathan Taylor, 161 rushing yards and a touchdown. Michael Pittman Jr., 9 catches, 121, and a touchdown. And as for Davis Mills, 240 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and a fumble. Brandon Cook, 7 catches for 82 yards. And the tight end O.J. Howard had 2 receiving touchdowns. And this is the first tie of the NFL season, and it only happened in week one. We're only in week one. Texans had a 20-3 lead and going into the fourth quarter, but the Colts were able to put up 17 unanswered points to tie it, and they had 500 yards of offense and still couldn't get the win. Next is the Saints beating the Falcons 27-26. Jameis Winston, 269 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jarvis Landry, 7 catches for $114. And Michael Thomas, welcome back. He had 5 catches, 57 yards for 2 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota making his Falcons start, 215, no interceptions, no touchdowns, no interceptions. He did have a rushing touchdown and a fumble. And Cordero Patterson, 120 rushing yards and a touchdown as well. And the Falcons, they blew another fourth quarter lead. They were up 26-10 in the fourth. Jameis Winston was absolutely phenomenal in the fourth quarter, and they were able to get a field goal to win the game. Next, we have the Ravens beating the Jets 24-9. Lamar Jackson, 213, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Rashad Bateman had a touchdown. Devin Duvernay had 2 touchdowns. Joe Flacco starting for the Jets, 307 passing, a touchdown and an interception. Corey Davis, 6 catches for 77 yards. And the Ravens get a win on the road against a team who's just trying to find their identity. The Jets' offense was definitely atrocious, but their young defense made some plays, and they should have a bright future. Next is the Washington Commanders beating the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-22. Carson Wentz in his Washington debut, 313, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The rookie Jonah Dodson had 2 TD catches, and Curtis Samuel, 8 catches, 55 yards for a touchdown. Trevor Lawrence, 275, a touchdown and interception. Christian Kirk, 6 catches for $117. And the running back James Robinson had a rushing and receiving touchdown. And this was a back-and-forth game kind of all afternoon. And Wentz did good in his first start for Washington, and the Jaguars definitely looked improved from last year. The Vikings beat the Packers 23-7. Kirk Cousins, 277, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Justin Jefferson, 9 catches, $184 for 2 scores. And Aaron Rodgers, 195, no touchdowns, an interception, and a fumble. And A.J. Dillon had a rushing touchdown. So the Vikings cooked the Packers all afternoon. Justin Jefferson was unstoppable. And the Vikings defense was able to get it done, sacking Rodgers 4 times and forcing a couple turnovers off him as well. And as for Rodgers, him and the Packers offense looked lost without Devontae Adams in the mix. Next, we have the Giants beating the Titans 21-20. Daniel Jones, 188, 2 touchdowns, interception, and a fumble. Saquon Barkley had a good game, $164 rushing and a touchdown. Ryan Tannehill for the Titans, 266 passing, 2 touchdowns, no interception. And running back Dontrell Hilliard had 2 receiving touchdowns on the day. The Giants were down 13-0 majority of the game, but they were able to come back mainly because of Saquon Barkley running the ball really well and getting that 2-point conversion, which Brian Dable had a gutsy move towards the end, going for 2, but it paid off. The Chargers beat the Raiders 24-19. Justin Herbert, 279, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He completed 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. Derek Carr of the Raiders, 295, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. And Devontae Adams making his Raiders debut, 10 catches, $141 and a touchdown. And Herbert looked amazing, just like we all thought he would going into year 3. The Chargers' defense, they played a big part, 6 sacks, 3 interceptions against Derek Carr. Derek Carr struggled big time. His O-line didn't help him at all. And Devontae Adams was basically the only Raider who did something on offense that afternoon. Next is the Chiefs beating the Cardinals 44-21. Patrick Mahomes, 360, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Travis Kelce, 8 receptions for $121 and a touchdown. And the running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, had 2 receiving touchdowns on the afternoon. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray threw for 193, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Hollywood Brown had 4 catches, 43 yards and a touchdown. And no Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs anymore. No problems for Mahomes as he has an MVP-like performance. Travis Kelce, his reliable tight end, had a great game as well. And with no DeAndre Hopkins in the mix, Cardinals and Kyler Murray, their offense looked abysmal. Next is the Bucs beating my Cowboys 19-3. Tom Brady, 212 passing, a touchdown, and an interception. Leonard Fournette, 127 rushing yards. And Mike Evans, 5 catches, 71 yards and a touchdown. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, $134, no touchdowns and interception. Tight end Dalton Schultz, 7 catches for 62 yards. And the Bucs pretty much dominated the Cowboys the entire game. The Bucs defense took care of a Dallas Cowboys banged up O-line, and Dak played bad, but he didn't have a good O-line around him, or he didn't have a lot of receivers around him either. He also hurt his throwing hand. He will be out for at least 4 to 8 weeks, and the Cowboys defense was able to bend but not break, but they could get no help from the offense at all. And what I don't understand is Ezekiel Elliott had 52 yards on 10 carries, but they refused to give him the ball for some reason. Absolute boneheaded move there. The final game is the Monday night game, is the Seahawks beating the Broncos 17-16. Geno Smith for the Seahawks threw for 195, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Will Dissly had a touchdown catch, and Colby Parkinson had a TD catch as well. Russell Wilson making his debut start for the Broncos, 340, a touchdown, no interceptions. Jerry Jeudy had 4 catches for 102 and a touchdown, and Javonte Williams, the running back, had 11 catches, 65 yards, and a fumble as well. And the Seahawks get a big upset at home against their former QB, Russell Wilson. No revenge game for Russell, as Geno Smith played a great game. The Seahawks defense definitely had an underrated game too. They forced 2 fumbles inside the red zone, really close to the goal line. And Russell Wilson loses to his former team, and there was a completely boneheaded move by the coach Nathaniel Hackett for the Broncos, attempting a 65-yard game-winning field goal on 4th and 5 that was missed. The Broncos gave up a lot of draft capital and paid a lot of money to Russell Wilson, and they paid him for a quarterback that could make those plays on 4th and 5, that could go out there and win you a ball game. Completely awful coaching. Well, that's it for week 1. I hope you guys enjoyed my recap. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram. I hope everyone has a wonderful day and a wonderful night. Take care, and God bless.